So you may notice I look a little bit guilty. Well, it's because I am. I owe you guys an apology. It's been, probably 6 months since I've made my last video. So, again, sorry to all of you guys. I appreciate the support along the way, though. And for the newer viewers, very much welcome. My name is Sin, and today we've got a little bit of a story to go with our review. I'm going to give both a review and a story, again, regarding this particular sneaker. So, story time comes first. I was initially drawn to this when I saw it in a preview video featured by another YouTuber. And, I wasn't really looking to get any of the 4D shoes just because, they were all just, they were fine, but they weren't anything that really jumped out or popped at me. Whereas this particular iteration, well, that's what did it over for me. And it kind of comes down to both its overall pattern style, the black 4D midsole, even though, of course, we had that with the Ultra 4D, which, again, I couldn't tell you the difference between the Ultra 4D and the 5.0. Nonetheless, and then, of course, then we do have this amazing traction pattern on the bottom, which I've actually confirmed is still the Continental outsole. So I've heard reviews that have said that it's not anymore and that they've changed that branding, but I think just because they don't have it here, I mean, they at least advertise on the website, and so if they're pulling a no-no there, well, that's a whole nother battle, not for me. Back particularly to the sneaker itself, it's overall really, really comfortable. And size-wise, you'll see here that I actually went up half a size. The reason why is because of the narrow shape. I like to have a little bit of extra room towards the toe anyway, but because, again, that it is a narrow shoe, it really helps for the width. There are a lot of reviews out there that are saying that this shoe is uncomfortable, or at least, again, any of the previous iterations of the 4D sneaker itself. And although I can't attest to the comfort of those other ones, I can only go off of what I have here. I find it hard to agree with them, even off of the initial wear. So I went and I tested this. Mind you, I only ran, jogged for about 5,000 steps total. But, I do think that I was able to get a pretty good feel for it overall. So, of course, the sock liner that you guys may or may not be used to, with the stretcher fabric is fantastic. And once we get to the inside and that comfort of the midsole that's provided, there to your foot, I think that just because you have a smaller amount than obviously you do coming up here towards the heel, it is not as cushioned towards the front as it is, again, the rear, and that should be axiomatic. However, that said, you do still have quite a bit of balance and stability overall on this sole or midsole, and it maintains the beautiful aesthetic that we have. But again, I could understand where some people might not be particularly thrilled that, yep, you have kind of an uneven distribution of energy. But for runners, which Adidas totes this shoe for, maybe it works for them, but I'll have to test more and I'll have to let you guys know. But as for right now, I think that just wearability-wise, this and how it is works beautifully. Which then segues us into unpopular opinion. So I also have the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 in this is the black static reflective colorway. And I find this shoe, the Ultra 4D 5.0, to be more comfortable than the Yeezy Boost. But let me explain. The Yeezy Boost, off of initial wear and overall, beginning comfort, I should say. So, if you're just rocking this for, let's just say a casual stroll and so forth, this will be the winner. But it would have to be a short casual stroll, as opposed to this one, which I think continues to give you better energy return overall and keeps your foot feeling less fatigued. Whereas I think that the super soft, boosty insole that we have here, I think that this actually kind of takes away from that and overall causes more foot fatigue because it is so squishy, bouncy, and comfortable. And yet again, one other thing that I have heard about the 4D midsole is that it does kind of get squishier or more comfortable over time. But I particularly like the level of firmness. It's not super firm like some of these other things I've got behind me back here. Oh, some of those will, mess you up. But it's definitely not anywhere near the squishy comfort of the Yeezy Boost. But I, once again, think that plays, to an advantage for this. So now we get to the story time. Okay, so I like to think of myself as a savvy customer. So I wanted to know what the differences were between this shoe and the previous iterations that we've seen, but particularly just the Ultra 4D. And so there's nothing conclusive on the website. And so naturally, I thought, hey, maybe I would call Adidas and they would know the answer to that, right? Yeah, nope, that was false, false, false. I actually spoke to 4 different representatives, each of which had a different answer for me. Over time, I've come to take a lot less nonsense than what I used to. And so, that's just a part of me growing into who I really am. And that said, the first woman, my question was posed pretty much exactly as such. Miss, I would like to know what the difference is between the Ultra 4D 5.0 and the Ultra 4D that's already previously released. And I preface that by saying, if you do not know the answer, if you do not have the answer, that's fine, I understand. Please then just transfer me to someone who does. And I could see how for some people that could be off-putting, which is asinine. But I was then met with silence initially before she, responded back by saying, okay, well, what are the item product IDs for the 2 shoes you're looking for? And I knew where she was going with this. I knew she was just going to try and, give me a bullcrap win response and look it up. So I responded accordingly, and I said that, if you don't know the answer, again, please just is there any way I could talk to somebody else? And she then hung up on me. Just a flat out hang up. So awesome. Nice. Okay, so then we go for round 2. And this time I get a gentleman on the phone. Now, he did give me an answer. He said that the Ultra 4D 5.0 is different because it uses an overall different, mesh fabric. It has different workings within the plastic. And then also that the 4D midsole is printed on this version, whereas the other one is woven. So for the Ultra 4D, it's a woven 4D midsole, or, so a 3D printed midsole, whereas now it's a 3D printed version, although that's what the whole technology is based on. So a little bit conflicting in that realm, but still an answer nonetheless. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Let's see then what we can get to possibly, conclude what we've got so far. So I call again to get a different person on the line. This time I get a woman who was adamant about me giving her the product IDs. So that way, she could tell me. And in case you guys didn't already piece this together, the reason why they want the product IDs is because they want to look it up on the spot on their website and then give you a winged response. They want to tell you something that they think sounds good enough that they can make up on the spot to where you will hang up, or you'll feel satisfied and be done with it. Again, and that just doesn't work for me. I like to think I'm better than that. So, I give her the product IDs and I let her run through a little spiel. And again, you could just tell that she's trying to read the descriptions and trying to just piece together something. And the best part was the fact that she was calling the previous iteration the Ultra 4D 4.0. So she was calling it the 4.0 when there's no product that's been released called the Ultra 4D 4.0. So, I went ahead and ended that call because clearly we weren't getting anywhere. Which then leads me into the final person I spoke with. Now this gentleman, he took a slightly different take. I let him know that I would just outright like to speak to a manager or somebody instead that would have the answer that I'm looking for, or an answer, a real answer based on, again, the criteria that I was out searching for. I didn't think it was that lofty of me to assume that the company would have the answer to such a standard level question, I thought, but not the case. So, we move on in. I ask and give the same spiel. If you don't know, manager, so forth, so forth. And ultimately, he puts me on hold for quite some time. And then he tells me that since, he acknowledged that based off of my preface, that he wouldn't be able to provide a satisfactory answer. And so he told me that I would have to send an email to their email inquiry team, and that they would get back to me in regards to that with a more thorough response, because he didn't want to, fall into the category of bullcrapping me, because he acknowledged that I knew that that's what was essentially going to happen. So while I appreciated that, I still haven't gotten a response. And so my exact email as such: I would like to know what the differences are between the Ultra 4D shoe and the Ultra 4D 5.0. I did not find the website product descriptions to be very helpful. I would like to know the specifics that make the Ultra 5, the 5.0 a different shoe altogether, as opposed to color variations of the originally released Ultra 4D shoe. For example, is there a different material choice, different means of construction? Any and all information would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Sin. And again, I have not received a response on that. So lay here in the midst, and I don't think that I will be getting a response on that email because no one knows at the company what the difference is, which could lead me to surmise things of my own, but I'm not going to do that. So here we are with the 4D 5.0. Man, I'm telling you, these names are really something. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and at least look at the positives and check this bad boy out on.
Well, the moon and star come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon my heart, look upon my heart. Oh, lay down your weapons, it is not too late for my mercy. Oh, oh, come and look upon my heart, look upon my heart. Oh, 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 I'm a god, how can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god. God. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god.
And there again we have it, the Adidas Ultra 4D 5.0. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this review and for bearing with me. I promise I'm going to be back at it. You all are so very appreciated. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you again for the next video.